Hey there, it's Kate. And yes, this is a new series that I'm starting, and it's called 11 Live with Kate because it's 11 o'clock in the morning. And yes, sometimes I am going to show up like this. I don't have any makeup on at all today. And that's because I was out working in the garden and also on the mountain doing a little walking. And I committed to myself to be in here at 11 o'clock each day or every other day to talk to you about some of the things that have worked for me, not only as a parent, but also in other relationships in my life. One of the things, oh, by the way, if you don't know me, my name is Kate. I am a life coach, health coach, soon to be essential oils coach, money coach. Yes, I coach. And I love essential oils, and you'll hear me talk about essential oils often. And I love helping uh, mums or families where even if sometimes you've only got two kids, that really you wonder how life can continue. So today, I'm really going to talk about how we stop reacting, and generally reaction or a behavioral reaction on our part comes because we don't like something. We have this knee-jerk reaction, and generally we don't like ourselves much afterwards. If it's with one of your children, it can actually end up escalating everything. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, let's go back in time a little to when I was a foster parent. When I first became a foster parent and got my first children, and they were 20-month-old twins who had been very neglected, not corrected for very much. And one of the things that we learned in all of our teaching here was that one, we didn't smack. So I grew up in the era where, my dad had a razor strap, quite frankly. I was terrified of the thing. I wasn't going to put my foot out of line and get that razor strap around my backside. But, I was brought up in an era where, and I know some people still believe in, you can give your kid a pop on the bottom and it gives them a bit of a fright or whatever. But when you're fostering or adopting, you soon learn that some of these kids that pop in the bottom has gone a lot further. In other words, it's gone to strapping, it's gone to, we laugh about the old hickory stick, but that hurt. Okay. And some of these kids have lived in very abusive situations. So therefore, you know, popping them on the bottom is not going to be, it's going to actually traumatize them. It is actually going to bring back memories and fear and trauma, and you are not going to gain trust of this child. So I learned this thing, and my hubby and I always called it the preemptive method. And what the preemptive method was all about me keeping an eye on things like 100% of the time. And I quickly worked out, because of the scale of our house and how our house was, I could gate off a certain area that included my kitchen. So my kitchen was there, and then I had a huge room that went down, and I could gate the stairs, I could gate the hallway, and the kids had this big room with a TV, video, and all their toys in here. And I could prepare dinner, I could do whatever I had. I also had a really big playpen in there. That's another story for another day. But when my first two boys came, once they got off the couch, which took about 10 days, they were pretty wild, and I couldn't run in two directions at the same time. So I ended up with one of these really, really huge, like a double play area. And that way, at least when I was preparing a meal or I was doing things, and that was me in the beginning starting to work out, how can I look after the kids? How can I watch the kids? How can I make sure they're not in danger? They've not run out of my sight. They're not doing something I don't want them to do. And that's how I came up and used this method that I was taught. And the method just basically comes down to you get there before the fight starts. You get there before the child is in the big mess. And that worked very well, especially with my younger children. Now, as my children grew older and as you have more than one relationship in your life, you begin to realize, including your husband, you begin to realize that sometimes you have these, what I call knee jerk reactions. Somebody gets heated, somebody says something, somebody gets offended, somebody is going, well, she said that about me. And the truth is, when it comes down to it, in the end, what does it matter? It is how you decide to handle any situation as to what your outcome is going to be. Right now, I am in the delightful stage of having my youngest set of twins who are 19 going on 20. I can tell you, if you haven't got children this age, it becomes a very special age. It's when they are really young adults, but they also don't know how, what would you say, to perhaps say the right thing all the time. Perhaps they live in their own little world. And I can tell you, it's easier for me sometimes not to have that knee-jerk reaction with people outside, people that are in my church, my community, a friend who says something. I generally go, hey, I can take that with a grain of salt. But sometimes when your kids say something, it automatically, you start getting defensive of yourself and you start going, well, they should know better. They should treat me with better respect. And so what we end up in is a little battle that's going around. I am going to be completely vulnerable here. In the last few days, I've found myself in a couple of those. And it is one of the reasons that I am, going to do an AFT today on myself about this. If you don't know what that is, that's called aroma freedom technique, and I am an aroma freedom practitioner, and this helps you get to the bottom of what's your goal, how you get there, what is stopping you from getting your goal. And feel free to book an appointment with me or have a free coffee chat with me, and I will tell you, it's an amazing tool. And along with some of my other tools for massage with essential oils, these are huge healing techniques. And I will be doing one of those because I've found myself drawn in again, because I just forgotten the last two that were at this age were not the, what would you say, outgoing, peppy personalities. You get one of those outgoing peppy personalities and they can sure pep you up really fast. So you have to realize that being drawn in, when you get drawn in to a remark you don't like or an attitude you don't like, you are way better to handle it with kindness and respect back, because if you don't, you're going to attract more of that behavior, and you're going to find yourself not liking what's coming out of your mouth and not liking what's coming out of theirs. And then you have the good old, I'm sure you've never experienced this, but the good old storm off to my bedroom and slam the door. And, that doesn't work either. It is way better if we can learn to listen and learn to converse and learn to understand that they are going through breaking moments in their lives as well as us. So the preemptive method, what is it? It is actually being there or understanding and looking and seeing that the little black rain cloud is about to rain on your parade. And how can you avoid that? How can you divert that? How can you move that child away from something, especially when they're smaller, even when they're teenagers? You can actually say, hey, look, that situation is getting out of hand there. Why don't you all go and cool off somewhere? Go outside and get some fresh air. But seeing the situation before it gets to the point where it is now, the free-for-all, and you've got kids crying and kids upset, and then you're upset and you're drawn into this. That is totally all about the law of attraction. And the law of attraction says that, what we put out is what we're going to receive back. And when you're in a room with a teenager or a toddler with a tantrum, or even a more adult person, and somebody's having their little meltdown and you get involved in it, none of it comes out as being very good at all. The law of attraction really does work. And if you look at that and think about different situations, you'll realize what I'm saying is true. It exists whether we like it or not. And if we continue to throw temper tantrums, or our children continue to do that, the atmosphere gets very, very tense. And you get very tense. You get very worn out. You get very tired. You don't know what to do. And you're going, let's just stop this. Well, let's stop it. Try stopping it before you start. Now, the other thing, trickier, I'm going to tell you that if you've got kids who maybe on the ADHD scale, maybe just lack a little focus, don't like to play very long with something, and so they want to play with what their brother's got or their sister's got, get a diffuser. Get your diffuser out and diffuse lavender and vetiver. Throw a bit of cedarwood in there as well. Cedarwood and vetiver are about the most calming oils that cross the brain and reach the brain and calm and get focus for kids who have low attention spans. I'm not kidding you. You can get a diffuser, an inexpensive diffuser anywhere. Get these oils. I will put a link for these oils under the video so that you can get those. You can go and look at where you can get those and what the properties of these oils are. But I wish I had have known about essential oils when I was raising my children. I would have never raised my children without them. I believe that they're another tool in our mother's arsenal to actually help our kids to be at their very best every day, and for them to have joy, peace, and serenity just the same as ourselves. Well, that's it for today, and I'll hope to pop in here tomorrow, and we'll talk about another part of this journey of improving ourselves so we can be better for our kids, but we can also be better partners for our husbands. We can be better friends to our friends. Okay, that's it for today. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now at 11 Live, okay, with Kate. Oh, one more thing. Go and join my group, the Sane and Healthy Mamas, because that's what you need to be. You need to be sane. You need to be healthy. You don't need to be overworked, overwhelmed, and underrated. Okay? Bye for now.